Hello, and welcome to All About Billings. We are a show dedicated to discovering the people that make Billings a great place to work and live. We will interview local business people, entrepreneurs, artists, entertainers, and we will learn from their successes, their failures, and their connection to Billings. I'm your host, Nancy Brook, broker and owner at Billings Best Real Estate, and today my guest is the brilliant photographer, Arica Lipp. Let me tell you a little bit about Arica. Arica is a multi-international award-winning photographer and published artist. She is also known in the community as the headshot queen, and I've had my headshots by Arica. Arica has elevated branding and portrait photography in her city while also bringing more attention to Montana. She's won prestigious awards and she's been traveling around the world as a photography speaker. Love to hear about that, and educator. And she's really been big on putting Montana on the map. Her clients love her for her ability to help them feel relaxed as well as look good in front of the camera. I will tell you, if you see pictures of yourself after Arica gets a hold of you, you go, wow, I should be on Vogue. Then the next day you wake up and go, oh, it's just me again. She jokingly says, don't hate your face, hire a great photographer. I love that bio, Arica. Welcome to the show. It's so fun to have you here today.
It's so fun. I get to sit and visit with a friend, and
yeah,
it's amazing. It's
well,
just
it's
good company.
It's always great to get to know different people in the community, and gosh, I think I've known you for a couple years now.
Yeah.
And I want to start by asking, how long have you been in Billings? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
I have been in Billings for 11 years now. Yeah.
Okay.
My husband was born and raised in the Heights, went to Central, and we met online. And
Oh,
so
goodness.
here I am.
And so you've been here ever since?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And you are obviously a business owner, but you're also a wife and you have children.
I have 5 children.
Yes.
And a golden doodle, so 6.
So that keeps you busy. But you are like a real busy person with your business.
I am. I'm a bit of a workaholic because I love what I do and I love people, and my work involves, loving people.
Yeah. So how did you get started with photography?
So my background is in fine art. I went to school in fine art and I minored in ballroom dance instructions, and that's a story for a whole nother time.
Oh, yeah.
And when I got married, my first marriage, and I started having children, I found myself not able to meet the needs of my children and create art. So I put my art on the shelf and said, I'm a mom and they need me, they need my attention, here we are. And this is sad to say, I will tell you now, my husband and I are complete opposites. He's not he's not the kind of client that would come seek out me, probably.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I'd like us to get family photos, and he's like, that's too expensive, we're not going to do that. My heart dropped.
Oh.
And I said, well, thinking, how hard can it be? I said, will you at least buy me a camera, and then I'll take them? And he's like, okay, I can do that. He's thinking, free family photos for forever, you betcha. And then I realized, even though I have the artistic eye, it's not easy. It is not easy.
Right.
But at the same time, the minute that I looked through that camera and I clicked and I saw the image, and I was like, the artist was just reawoken. Portraits was my area of expertise. So I used to draw portraits. I used to paint people. I used to sculpt people. I loved people, always. And so here I am, able to find a new medium for my art. And it was very easy, for the most part, in comparison, to still give my kids the time and attention. I could walk away I could set the camera down, I could walk away from the computer and give my kids the attention when they needed it, and block out that time for my work as my work. Whereas as an artist, when I would use my hands and I would have to create something completely from my imagination, I had to be in the zone and focused and undisturbed. And I didn't know, like you have days where you have that creative genius just flow really well, and those are the days you just create like mad. And other days where you just can't predict when you may not be feeling it, like writer's block. But I don't really have that experience with the camera for some reason, and maybe it's because this is what I was meant to do anyway. So kind of a long story, but
Well,
yeah.
that makes sense because I really find your portraits they capture the essence of somebody. And when you say that you were an artist, because anybody who's really studied like artistic portraits, you know, like the eyes tell the story, and you can just capture the feeling of that person by looking at the painting or whatever it is you're looking at, the drawing. And you do capture the person's essence with your photographs. So it all kind of clicks for me now.
Yeah, well, that's what I try. That's what I want people
Yeah.
to feel, because, and and you can have that desire to capture one, right? Oh, I want to take a great photo. I want to do really well. I want to capture this person really, really great. But if you don't have the knowledge on how to do that with the equipment you have, you can't do it. Or let's say you have the technical skills, but not that desire to see the beauty in people. So you have to literally be trained. I've invested in some of the best mentors in the world because I wanted to be so good at this, so that what I saw in my head could come out in reality, right? Can come to fruition. So when I look at someone, when you look at me, you probably only see good things. When we look at each other in the world, we love what we see. We love faces. We love how everyone looks. We're not picking them apart. We're not criticizing them. But when you take a still photo, you know, I want to replicate what I see with my human eyes that I love in the photo. But you have to know how to manipulate this equipment to achieve that, plus lighting and angles and all those things. So it's a skill, and it's an ongoing skill. And as technology changes, I have to shift and change, and I have to keep on top of things. They just came out, Canon's coming out with a new camera. It's called an R1. It's going to have a global shutter, and there's a lot of techie details that go with that, but it's going to change, and photographers are going to have to learn again kind of how to use that equipment. There's a little bit of a learning curve coming, kind of like when the mirrorless system came out back a few years ago. People had to adjust to that. When it went from film to digital, people had to adjust to that.
Sure.
So when this is your industry and you're seeing these big changes happening, you have to be educated, you have to stay relevant, and you have to keep learning and growing. So you're never quite there, right? You're never finished, you're never completely done, and I like that.
Well, it's interesting that photography has become your medium as an artist.
Yeah.
It's much like, though, as you describe learning photography, because obviously you have to learn lighting, you have to learn angles, you have to learn, I mean, so many things. But you probably had to do the same thing when you first started painting, or I don't know what you did for art, but you know, or sculpting or doing pottery. You have to learn how to work with the medium.
Yeah, it's all the hours. Like any expert of any field, whether it's artistic and creative or not, you have to put in the hours, and you have to learn from someone who's done it before, someone who's done it well. I think everyone should have a mentor. Everyone should have invested in an education of some type. Mine was non-traditional, because by that time I wasn't attending university anymore.
Right.
And so I invested in one-on-one mentorships and online education, because the best were in, you know, LA, Italy, New York.
Right.
So, you know, I couldn't, then COVID actually created opportunities for me to get in contact with some world-renowned photographers that had COVID not happened, I probably would never have known and gotten to know them personally, but it forced them to really open up and do more online education, whereas before you would have to pay and travel to them, right? Mm-hmm. So COVID was kind of a really huge shifting point for me, where I really dove in and embraced photography as a business, and it was just, the stars align, honestly. Mm. And then at the time in Billings, no one was doing headshots like I wanted to do headshots. Like no one wanted to even do them. Headshots have this bad rep, you know, that used to be that they were, you know, like a mugshot, and they were just like no one wanted to do it. But then I thought, oh, this is a really great opportunity to show people that they can have this required photo that looks amazing, right? A lot of people won't get their photo taken until their employer or they feel like they have to have it for work. And so there is an in and a way to give yourself permission to get in front of the camera, whereas normally people are like, oh, they push it off, they put it back, they're like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. It's a phobia, it's a real fear people have. I've experienced it myself.
Well, and you know how it is though, because like we have our own vision of ourselves in our mind, and then we look at the mirror and, you know, maybe I notice, you know, I got a little bump there on my nose, you know, whatever. But then you see a photo, it's like, when did I get all those wrinkles, you know? And so a lot of us are just like, wait a minute, this isn't quite right, but you have just this fine ability to make people look their best selves, but it still looks like you. Yeah. It's not like you look like you're in high school or something if you're a mature woman.
No.
But it's like you, but enhanced.
Enhanced.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to be photographed with the right lighting, because men's lighting and women's lighting are two different stories, right? There's something to that. Women are more soft. Men are very more grit, right? There are always exceptions to, you know, where I will play and cross the lines and break the rules, but for the most part, generally. And then the posing, how high my camera is, what angle my lens is tilted at. So it's lighting and posing and angles. And then beyond that, there's that connection, right? We want to feel that when someone looks at a photo, they're not looking at a photo. I want to feel like I'm looking at Nancy. I'm like, oh, look at Nancy. And I feel like she's looking right back at me instead of looking at a camera. Like, and you can, if you put two pictures side by side where you feel there's a camera right there, you can sense it. You know they're looking at a camera when they took that shot.
Yeah, like, geez, yeah.
Yes. And then there's the one that says, you don't see the camera, you just see them. So that takes an ability to connect with people, and sometimes in a very short amount of time, because people will walk in that I haven't met before, and it's my job to help them feel comfortable and to relax and to not worry and stress about all the checklist of things we criticize ourselves for every morning when we wake up. And in fact, photos can be very empowering when they're done right. When they're not done right, we think that that's how we really look, and then we just feel icky about ourselves. And so be very careful, like, you know, give yourself grace. If you're taking cell phone photos of yourself or other people are and they're not a professional and it doesn't turn out great, it's not you. It is never you. It is either the equipment or the person who's handling it that doesn't know all the tricks, right? So, because one of the best compliments I ever get is when friends and family go, wow, you just captured them perfectly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, and one big thing that, I mean, at least you do with the ladies, is they have a hair and makeup day, and it's pretty crazy. Like, you walk out of there feeling like you're a movie star. Like, wow, it's date night tonight, baby. You know, everybody's going to be asking me for my name.
Hey? Well, I mean, why not? Why not? Why can't we feel like celebrities for a day? You know, I mean, the celebrities are human beings.
Right.
That just get that kind of a treatment. And I mean, I remember, a lot of us were there as a teenager looking at the magazines and just going, wow, they're so beautiful, and we just admire them so much. And I remember even then, even when photography wasn't even a thing in my head, I just remember being in love with those images. I was in love with how beautiful the magazines were, the fashion magazines. And as I started doing my photography work, at the very early beginnings of it, I was trying to feel validated as a photographer. So I was trying to shoot in a style that I knew was getting bookings, where people were like, oh, I want this, beautiful sun-filled outdoor, photo. And so I'm like, well, I can do that. I learned how to shoot that. I could shoot any style really you wanted me to. But what was missing was me. I was trying to copy another artist's style, and not being true to myself. And guess what? I wasn't getting booked. I was not getting hired. I was about ready to throw in the towel and say, what am I doing this for? And I said, well, the heck with it. I'm going to, do a model call. I'm going to do a shoot the way I want to do it, the way I've envisioned doing it, which was like GQ style, Vogue magazine style. I wanted people to feel absolutely powerful and stunning in an image. And all of a sudden, and so I started posting these photos, and all of a sudden people are like, whoa, wait, who shot this? And that's when I'm like, okay, I learned a really, really, really important lesson, is that you have to listen to your inner genius, because it's there for everyone. And never worry about what someone else is doing next door. Never worry about competition. That's not a thing. That doesn't exist, honestly. There's just you and your craft and valuing what you do, right? Everything else doesn't matter. People are going to come to you that value what you do because you value what you do, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. And you're going to give to them something that's equal value, right, of what you're receiving, and it's an equal trade, and people feel so amazing. And back to the hair and makeup, that was part of my plan. I really wanted that. I wanted people to feel so good. Even for my men, I actually had found a barber that she does a whole facial and everything for them, and does a little beard trim and haircut, and they just walk out there looking younger. I swear, they look younger. They got pep in their step, feeling like $1 million bucks.
Yeah.
So it's not just the women that benefit, but men too. And until you experience it, you don't realize just how much of a difference it really does make. Just how you feel, and that shows in photos.
And we had a couple of agents that were just doing headshots, a quickie session, and man, I walked in because we were doing a little group shot, and those ladies were like on fire. Their confidence was out of control. And you know how it is as people, and probably ladies especially, sometimes you feel a little down, maybe something isn't going your way, and then you just kind of get droopy. Well, man, I mean, hair, makeup, and they are just strutting around with their shoulders back, so confident. And it just kind of blew me away, like how much of a difference it makes to do that, I guess, bit of pampering and primping and just saying, this is my best self to the world. It makes a huge difference. So it's the confidence that comes through those photos too. I would say all the photos I've seen of yours, and it's a lot of ladies that I'm friends with, so those are the ones I see the most, but those women just seem so confident, so in charge, like they are ready to just take on the world.
Yeah, it's life-changing for some. Some will go, they'll cry because they've never had a photo like that of themselves that they loved. And I get all emotional with them because I know that, we all know that feeling. Pretty much, I think almost all of us know what it feels like to wish we looked a certain way. The only thing is that they actually do. We don't see our own beauty the way other people can see it, right? We're so hard on ourselves. And what's really fun too is when everyone's hair and makeup's done, right? It's kind of like, how do I put it? I've had people like go get new wardrobe after the shoot because they felt so good about themselves. So like this is just giving me, like, opened their eyes to
what you can be.
What they can be. And it's not about the makeup necessarily.
And it's, I mean, obviously when you're doing photos, you wear more makeup than you typically would. I mean, it's just part of it.
It's
because
marketing for headshots for sure.
Exactly. But it's that whole feeling of being put together. And again, you don't have to, come out with false eyelashes every day of the week.
There is something to dressing for the job.
Yes.
Yeah? Dress for the part, dress for the job. Psychologically, how you dress and how you present yourself has an effect on how you feel about yourself and how you perform.
Right.
Right? So, but that doesn't mean that one size fits all.
Right.
Now, one person may prefer a supernatural look, so we go with a supernatural look, and they still feel like themselves, but enhanced. Yeah.
Well, I remember way back when I was first in the job market, cute little 20-something, and man, back in the day, we used to have little bow tie shirts, probably before your time.
Oh, they're cute, yeah.
And little, skirts and jackets and blazers. And I remember I really wanted to dress so I looked like a business executive,
Yeah.
even though I had little chubby cheeks and a baby face. But it does make a difference when you dress for the part you want to be. It is almost a little bit of acting, right?
A little bit.
That comes to play.
And that's where my custom sessions get to be really nice, because we do a deep dive in,
Right.
okay, marketing, who's our audience, who are we trying to target and attract? So we're going to dress authentic to ourselves, authentic to our own brand. We don't want to pretend to be someone else, because that will come across also. You never want to be false. You always want to be genuine. But let's say realtors, for example, they're a great example, right? On a bench, they want that photo, they look sharp, right? And they've got the blazer, they look professional, and they're attracting the people that feel like, okay, they expect a certain look in their minds when they think realtor. They have a vision of what they connect that with. But some people will ask me, well, aren't people going to be worried that I don't look that good when they see me every single time that I go show them a house? And I say, give yourself a break. No one thinks that. Do you think that? Do you have that expectation? No one really actually thinks that way. So it's basically a hook thing. Get their attention. Let them see your best foot forward.
Right.
It's a presentation. And then as they get to know you, I mean, you're just being yourself, and they're not going to have these very critical standards,
Well,
at
I
that point.
think the one exception I would have is if you have a photo that's maybe more than 5 years old or 10 years old, and it doesn't even look like you, or you know what I mean? There's a lot of
Yeah.
people who have like photos from 20 years ago.
Well-
And it's just, I mean, it's like kind of surprising when you see those people. It's
Yeah.
like, this doesn't even
That
look
one's a
like
big
you
shocker.
anymore.
Yeah, you gotta be, like I said, and that goes along with being genuine and
Exactly.
authentic. So, in fact, I will not name names, but I had a gentleman who hadn't had his headshot done in a really long time,
Yeah.
and he's quite a bit older. But let me tell you, his photos that I took, he's way hotter now than before. And I say that, as a married woman, just generally
no,
speaking.
I get it, yeah.
Generally speaking, he was very attractive in his photos, and he's decades older.
Yeah.
So, don't let age be the thing that
really good
keeps you from
advice.
getting really good photos. Like, you can be beautiful and handsome at any age,
Right.
Any age. And if you've done some drastic changes to your hair color, you want to stay relevant. In bigger, larger cities, they would say you would need to replace your headshot like 6 months to a year.
Wow.
They don't want to see you ever go past 2 years without a new headshot,
Yeah.
because businesses turn around so often there that they need to know that you're still an active business. If you
Right.
have a really old headshot that's a couple years old, then they feel like you may not be a serious business, or you may be struggling, or you don't have the money to invest in your marketing, and that's not a good impression to have.
Yeah.
So it's really, headshots are just the funnest thing for me.
Yeah.
Where other photographers would nails on a chalkboard, I don't want to do headshots. But now it's one of the fastest, most sought after areas of photography, next to boudoir.
Oh, that's really great. And so, when did you know that you kind of had made it as a business? Because it sounds like you had some struggle,
Yeah.
and you were trying to please people by doing what they wanted, which obviously sounds to make sense. They say, you got to make your clients happy, and so it would make sense, but it wasn't working.
No. And I still do beautiful outdoor sunny
Sure.
stuff, but I do it my way.
Right.
I let my brain embrace the vision that I have of what that looks like outdoors, versus going, oh, here's so-and-so's work, I'm going to make it look just like that. It's a different process, right? So I can shoot natural light, I can shoot strobes, and I can do in studio or outdoors or in an office, all of it. And when I knew, I don't know if I
Made it, quote unquote.
made it.
Yeah.
I would say though, oh gosh, well, Reader's Choice Award. To make the top 5 the first time, I was so excited. And to compete against people like Tracy Moore, who I admire, was a good friend and a mentor for me. Now she's moved, darn it, but I love her to pieces. She's great. So local, on a local scale, like getting and then winning the next year and then winning again, and then I'm in the top 5 again. So for the two photography categories that I compete in, I don't do weddings, so I don't compete in that category. Because it's the one award where I feel like people have that recognize that and go, oh, this is a trusted business if they've won this. It says something. And I try to earn it. I really work hard to earn that and improve and show people I am the best photographer. At least I try to be. I really work hard for it. Every time I have a client, I want to be the best photographer they've ever had for them. And I think I'm passionate and I care. Like, no one's going to care about your straight hairs more than me. You know? No one's going to care about how you feel in your photos more than me, except for maybe them, right? And you know, I've had people ask me, you know, I've spoken at conferences and I teach and I now educate other photographers all over, and I travel for that, and it's so fun for me to be able to answer their questions and give them inspiration and give them encouragement where it's needed. And so there are people, I'm sitting across from them doing portfolio reviews at a conference. It's one of the biggest conferences, and they're sitting across from me and their work looks better than mine, but they haven't reached that level of confidence. One gal had a very strong Russian accent, and she was and it was holding her back in her mind. And I said, your accent is beautiful, own it, love it, and don't let that hold you back, because I can understand you just fine. And I could. Like, she was worried people didn't understand her, but I think that was just, there may have been an experience in the past, but no, her work was stunning. She did boudoir photography, and it was incredible. And so what she needed wasn't guidance on lighting or posing. She just needed guidance on confidence and business matters. And it is a business. We're not just artists, we're business owners. And the photographers that have, like, they will either learn that it is a business, or they'll take on another job and continue to, like, they won't be able, or they'll quit altogether. It's really sad. 60% of photographers don't stick with it. They quit. And then only 1% really truly get into that higher level income. Wow. It's a rough one.
It's tough, and you've been thriving. And with our last 30 seconds or so, why don't you tell people how they can get a hold of you if they are interested in amazing headshots?
Yes, I'm okay. I like that you said amazing headshots. And I'm not cocky. I just know that I will do the very best for them. And to get a hold of me is very, very simple. You can go on my website. It's aricalipp.com. And my name is spelled differently, so it's ARICALIPP.com. You can go on there. My phone number's on there, but a contact lead form is there, so you can fill that out. It will ask you just for your basic contact information and what type of photography you want me to provide for you. Okay. And I think what people need to understand is it doesn't stop there. That's just the beginning.
Just the beginning,
just the
folks.
Beginning.
Well, it has flown by. It's been so wonderful.
I talk so much.
No, it's great. You are a wonderful guest. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on All About Billings, and we hope to see you next time.